Hi guys, well, I think the first order of the day is pump the pond out again. I really can't remember how many times I've actually done this. So we'll get the pump before we do anything else and pump it out. Now the reason I've never had a bottom drain before is for the simple reason I like to leave my filters running through the winter. And I don't see a lot of point in building a pond 4 foot deep or 5 foot deep and drawing the water out of the bottom of the pond when the fish are trying to stay down there to keep that little bit warmer. You're just moving the water that's stable temperature out of the pond and cooling it down again. So I've never sort of gone for a bottom drain. I've always gone for a submersible pump that I can lift up and put on a higher plant shelf. But I've thought of a way around it, and you will see in this video how I do it. I'm going to put a separate outtake in the side wall for winter running. Right, well what you can see there is a little bit of water in that bottom drain. And like I said, we have hit the sock level, so we can't go any deeper. So what I'm going to do is just get my pond vac, whip that bit of water out to cement the bottom drain in, which then comes through down there and up here. And this is where I shall have a couple of taps so I can switch from summer to winter, and then off it will go along the trench and towards the shed where the pump will be. So that will be the plumbing for the bottom drain. Okay, with the bottom drain blocked off, we'll get some cement in there. Well, there we go guys, the bottom drain is in and fixed. That pipe there is where it will be drawing it from the pond in the winter, and if we go down and across, that's where it will be drawing it from in the summer. That's the bottom drain down there. So a summer and a winter run basically. I've got the two slide valves on there, so I can run from either, shut either one off or shut both off. I can shut them both off if I want to prime the pump, and then just open up the bottom one when I switch the pump on. Close the bottom one in the winter and open the top one for winter running. Well, good afternoon everybody, and what a beautiful day it is today. Right, the stage I'm up to at the moment is I'm just putting the return in from the filters. So if we come over here, as you can see, that's where it comes from the filter and goes into the ground, which will run along this trench here and then back to the pond. Got that end to dig out yet, but this is as far as I've got at the moment with the return. Well, if you can see that, I got to the stage where I now want to reduce from 3 inch to 2 inch. So I went online on eBay and bought a 3 inch to 2 inch reducer, and as always they don't fit. I did check the 2 inch, the 50mm, that does fit okay, but they were too big. They didn't quite fit. There was about a mil or 2 mil too big for the pipe. So what I actually did was use this. I've used it before. It's an old Black & Decker paint stripper gun, heat gun. Very gently heated it up all the way around as even as I possibly could. And as you can see there, it's swollen the pipe. I've pushed it in there, let it cool down, dropped it in the pond actually. And let it cool down, brought it back, tapped it out, and then I've solvent welded it and pushed it in, and it's the perfect fit. Okay, there you go, and that is it in situ. That is where it's going. It's going to come up there and then across and into the pump in the shed. From there, from that point there, is still under water level on the pond. So it's still going to be helped by gravity feed to that point. It's going to be lifting from there to the top of the tub, which is about 1 metre. So I'm going to be losing very little in head pressure. So the only thing it's going to be doing is lifting about 1 metre. Okay guys, you can see there the pipe that comes up, that's from the bottom drain, reduced to 2 inch. It's 2 inch pipe now, which will now run across to that point there through the shed. And let's take a look at the other side, which I'm now going to connect up to the pump. That's where it goes through and out the shed to meet that pipe I've just shown you. And then from there we've got to go up to the UV, then from the UV to the filter. But let's get that pipe in there now. We'll get it all solvent welded in, cut and solvent welded in, and we'll go to the next step. There we go, that's the inflow to the pump all connected. And as you can see there, comes inside the shed and connected up to the pump. So the next thing will be to run the line up to the UV. So the situation so far, the 2 feeds, the bottom drain and the one on the side wall, run along underground to here where they're on 2 gate valves, so I can choose between summer and winter running. Then we go underground up to the shed where it changes and is reduced to 2 inch, along there and into the shed to the pump. Now the return comes out from the filters there as 3 inch, down and underground. It follows along, underground, and comes up here. So this will be the return to the pond, and this is in the shallower end. As you can see, we go down to the bottom drain and the deeper end. So this is the return to the pond. I think I'm just going to have 2 ordinary pipes, 2 inch pipes coming off that, but I'm still working on that one. And that's the return to the pond. Well guys, what I'm doing here is I've dug out for the skimmer, and as you can see I've stepped it back from the pond. This is just to give me a little bit more room, and then I shall run a channel to it, but that is for the skimmer, and this is what I'm going to be using as the skimmer. I found this at the local garden centre, and it's a 114 litre 25 gallon tub, which is just a nice size, and it's got a lovely top on it as well. So I'm going to be turning that into a skimmer, and that's where it's going to fit. Hopefully something like that. And then I shall just channel out to it from the wall and then disguise it. But hopefully that's how it's going to go. I've had a bit of a hold up. My bricks still haven't arrived. This is a week later. Now apparently they're out of stock. So I'm having a really good time here. But that's the skimmer that I'm going to start. I shall build a skimmer out of that. I will do the video of it showing you what I've done. But I'm going to trade my pond in for a boat. This is a bit more than rain. There's hail, sleet. Don't know whether you can see it, but there's hailstones in that. What a wonderful day. Definitely a cup of tea. Well, that's got the pond pumped out yet again. Bit of clearing up to do, cleaning up before the liner goes in. There is just one thing I want to show you, and that is that I've had to move my Evo light. Wasn't thinking when I put it up there. I've now got it up here. You couldn't change the bulb where it was, so it would have meant disconnecting everything to get a new bulb in it. So I've moved it onto the side wall now, so that I can actually, I've got the room there to get a new bulb in it. So that's where the Evo lives now, instead of on the bottom of that board. I have got 1 or 2 of the electrics in, started on them, So it's all coming on now. I've just got, like I said before, the outside of the pump to go to the Evo and then to the filter. Okay, and there you can see the flexi pipe. I'm going to use flexi pipe for now. I would like to hard plumb this later, but I'm going to use flexi pipe for now because it's a lot easier at the moment. But it's just the connection to the pump I'm waiting for now. But as you can see, the flexi pipe runs up into the Evo, out the Evo, across and down and into tub 1. My pre-filter I've had to disconnect and cap for the moment until I find where I'm going to put that. I've got to locate that yet. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go, but that's the fixing for the main flow in. I would have liked it to have been 2-inch, but there wasn't a lot of point because these Evo 30s and 40s, whatever they are, they're all 1.5 inches, so it got reduced through the Evo anyway. So I've just gone for 1.5 inch flexi pipe at the moment. But like I say, I'm just waiting for the coupling to come from a pump, and that's all ready to switch on. Okay, so what I'm doing here now is I'm making the outlets for the return back to the pond. I've got there the 3-inch pipe, and I have here the 3-inch to 2-inch reducer, and as you can see, it's not going to fit. It's too big as usual. So what I've got to do is heat the top of this pipe and try to get it in there. So I'm going to heat the top of the pipe now and get this reducer into that 3-inch pipe. Okay, now the main thing to do with this is get it so it heats evenly all the way around. You've got to make sure it heats up nice and even all the way around, and once you get it to temperature it will become very floppy, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Okay, now this is, you can see that this is just at a nice temperature now. It's a bit hot, but that's just nice and squidgy, so we'll try to get it in. And there we are, it just pushed straight in, no problem at all. I'm sorry I couldn't show you that bit, only I can't hold the camera and make sure that goes in square at the same time. But that's it, just pushed in ever so easy, and that is the perfect fit. So like I say, we'll let them cool down. The other one's just there, we're letting it cool down. We shall let this one cool down the same and then tap them out and solvent weld them in. And there we go guys, that's both the 2-inch reducers into the 3-inch pipe. That will now go into the T, so I've got two 2-inch coming off the return, the 3-inch return back into the pond. And there we go, that's them in situ where they're going to be on the pond return. Just fit nicely, ideal. So now just bring the 2-inch, once we've got the wall up I can bring the 2-inch into the pond. Anyway guys, guess what, it's just starting to rain, so I'm going to say thanks for watching and happy ponding.